After spending thousands of years using JavaScript, I am here to tell you the top 10 JavaScript framework libraries, packages. So let's begin. So you all might not know this, but NPM, the Node Package Manager, has only been around for 10 years. So you might be asking, how does this guy have 1,000 years of experience? Well, I went into the past, and I went into the past to tell you that these top 10 packages, I used them hundreds of years ago. So I know them real good, and my hair is messed up, yeah. And to those that don't believe me that NPM has only been around 10 years, well, here we go. Initial release 10 years ago, January 2010. And it is currently July 2020. Or it's around July, somewhere around there. So don't forget to triple click that like button for your YouTube algorithm, because just as there's jobs that need 20 years of experience in NPM while it's been around for 10 years, I need 20,000 years of experience in NPM for me to be successful. So let's begin with number 10. So coming in at number 10 with 7,407,847 weekly downloads from NPM, which is now a part of GitHub, is React, my favorite package on this list by far, honestly, because React is so great. And you might be saying, oh, Vue is more popular or whatever, something like that. But React is really the king or queen of front-end development nowadays. So that's why it's my favorite, because it's good for front-end development. And I've made a lot of videos saying about React and how great it is. And it is used a lot. But it's only number 10, you say. So how is everything else on this list more used? Because not everyone uses React. And there's other uses for NPM than just front-end development. So we'll get to those. Now this next one's interesting. It's called prop types, coming in at about almost 8 million weekly downloads. I'm not going to say out all the words every time. I'm only going to do that for React, because React's special. But prop types, and it's interesting, because the first line that says, runtime checking for React props and similar objects. So that has me questioning, checking for React props. Wait, this has more downloads than React. What's going on here? This is some witchcraft, because how can something that checking for React props have more downloads than React itself? So something is up with these numbers, but I mean, it's the official NPM. Like, this is one of the most official websites out there for this kind of stuff. So it's really interesting. But anyways, yeah, you can check for props and stuff like that with this. Cool. So if you do not know about React prop types, it's commonly used with React components. So if you don't know what a prop is, it is kind of something like when you pass something from one component to another, it is kind of like a property you pass in. So you can use it like in a child component from a parent component. So this React prop types will allow you to define like what kind of types you're going to pass in. For example, like you might want to say like you have some variables, like you have an array, you have a Boolean. You can define these as arrays of Booleans, functions, numbers, objects, strings, and so on, and symbols and stuff like that. So it's really useful to define what you want to pass in from components. Coming in at number 8 is Moment. And Moment allows you to work with and validate and format and parse dates. So, you know, like the fruits, not the dates that you want to go out on with that significant otter. No, it's the dates, like the time and the dates, you know, like tomorrow's Saturday, the next day is Monday, and so on. So you want to parse those, and you want to get them in the right state. And this is kind of why it has so many 12 million downloads, because people work with dates all the time, and you want to make sure they're in the right format. So when you pass them onto a service, they're good to go. Coming in at number 7 is Express, with 12.8 million downloads, which is slightly more than Moment. So you might ask, what is Express? And this is probably my second favorite on this list, because I've used it the second most amount of time on this list. And what is Express? It is a web framework for Node. So what is it useful for? What is web framework for Node? What does that mean? Well, it really means you can just kind of start a server using Express. So you might ask, why would I need a server on Express when I could use Python, the far superior language? And that's true. You can use whatever language you want to start a server. But if you want to use like both Node NPM modules for both front end and back end, you can do that. And you can use Express to have a server and kind of like pass in and listen to things like here in the example code. So very useful tool, and it has a bunch of cool stuff like routing, test coverage, HTTP stuff, content negotiation, you know, like when you negotiate like your salary. This is basically the same thing, right? All right, let's move on. And the next one we have is deprecated. What? So this is the weirdest one. So request, next one, at 19.5 million downloads. It is the only one on this list that has been deprecated, and the author messages, author request has been deprecated, see blah, 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 blah. And this is really interesting. So it's fully deprecated as of like 4 months ago, yet it has so many downloads. So I don't know if they just don't understand that it's been deprecated. They don't read the NPM.js, that's the site. They don't look at any of this. I don't know why there's a dip here. What happened here? I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of these dips. But anyways, requests, I guess don't use it because it's deprecated, but you can use it for HTTP client requests and stuff like that. Kind of boring since it's deprecated. All right, number 5 on our list is Async, coming in at 28 million downloads per week. And what does this Async do for you? So it allows you to work with asynchronous JavaScript, as you can see in this boldened JavaScript thing. So what you might ask is asynchronous. And what is JavaScript? Well, you probably know what JavaScript is, so we'll get to asynchronous. So asynchronous kind of helps you handle like kind of time issues. So like, for example, what if you want to call an API or something in a service, but then you want to wait for it to complete. So that's what this will kind of help you with. And yeah, that's basically it. So you want to wait for something, because as you know with JavaScript, or you might know with JavaScript, it only has one thread, so it'll just kind of continue working. So with this, you can just allow it to like wait for a bit. Number 4 is Lodash. So Lodash, really cool as well. So a lot of the Lodash features have been starting to, so this is, I guess, number 3 of my favorites on this list, because it is useful, has so many different features in it. Like it's like it would take forever to explain all the features, because it has so many different features that it aims to solve and do. And it's really easy to install, kind of like everything on this list. NPM -- save Lodash. I don't know if I said 30 million downloads, but I'm going to say it again. Anyway, so what does it do? It kind of has a bunch of different helper functions that help you do like different things. And it's kind of, so like, for example, you load full build, load core build. Oh, wait, no, that's installation. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyways, you might use Lodash for like checking to see if something exists or not. That's a really common one. But nowadays that has been replaced in JavaScript itself with optionals, which allow you to do like check if something is an object by doing like having the object and do a question mark and then a dot and then the next variable. So yeah, that is Lodash. It is many different helper tools that help you with a variety of different things, and that's that. And number 3, we're getting into the top 3. At 42.6 million downloads is commander.js, a complete solution for Node.js command line interfaces, inspired by Ruby, which is a programming language, Commander. So I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know much about Commander. So I'm just going to tell you straight. I don't know much about Commander, but it has a bunch of different cool methods. It has so many different methods in it and help with it. So, but if you know, if you're working with command line interfaces in Node.js, I'm assuming commander.js will be helpful for you. But has so many different downloads that so I can't just not mention it. So coming at number 2 with 49.8, almost 50 million downloads, is Chalk, which will help you style your command line. So this is really cool. So you can this is an NPM module, by the way, or NPM package, by the way, that you can help style your command line. And you might say, why does this have almost 50 million downloads? It's because it has pretty colors, and that's all that programmers care about. You might say, oh, programmers don't care about colors, they don't care about creativity, and that's where you're wrong. That's where we care the most. It's clean and focused, 50,000 packages, so it's used by a lot of packages. That's why it has so many weekly downloads. And yeah, it's kind of used for making everything colorful and having themes and stuff like that. So if you want to add some color to your life and string styling and doing all that cool stuff, go ahead and use this. It's fun. Chalk, like that one Chalk show. So coming in at number 1 is the greatest Debug at 66 million downloads. And this is kind of similar to Chalk in that it adds some colors to your workspace, your command line typing interface, and it's easy to install, so that helps get the 66 million. And of course, it is used kind of like with Node.js's, or it's kind of modeled like Node.js's core debugging technique. And some of the examples of what it does is that it kind of like styles and colorizes your command line, similar to Chalk. So like you might see, oh, this has, you might see like the milliseconds here. And so like if you're like doing a bunch of different GET requests, you can see like HTTP is colored blue, and you might have all the color, the times in milliseconds, that how long it takes, colored blue, or you can color it in pink, or you can color it in orange, or you can color it in whatever rainbow color you want to color in. And look at this, it's a rainbow. You can have namespace colors. It is great. So that is Debug for you. And that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of different NPM packages and modules out there, and they all have their uses. So just because one isn't on this list doesn't mean it's not good. Like for example, there is Formic, which I like a lot, using with React. Has 800 million, or not 800 million, 800,000 weekly downloads, which is useful for getting forms up and running very well, even though this is pretty big, Formic. So instead, I like to use Formit, which is even smaller. In fact, it might even have like 2 downloads or something like that, 2 downloads a week, which you definitely got to be scared about these kind of low download ones, because you never know what they're going to put in your code. They might put like a bomb in it or something to hijack your application, which you got to definitely worry about that. So that's the end of this video. Make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you later.